Words are powerful. They shape how we understand history, identity, and conflict. But sometimes words are used without people fully understanding where they come from. One such word is anti-Semitic. Today, the word is commonly used to describe hatred or prejudice against Jewish people. That definition is widely accepted in modern political and social discussions. But the word itself comes from a much older idea, the concept of Semitic peoples. So, what exactly does that mean? The term Semitic originally referred to a group of languages and peoples associated with the biblical figure Shem, one of the sons of Noah. According to ancient traditions, the descendants of Shem spread across parts of the Middle East. Over time, scholars began using the term Semitic to describe a family of languages spoken across that region. These languages include Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, Akkadian, and others. Because of this linguistic and historical connection, the peoples who spoke these languages were sometimes grouped together as Semitic peoples. That includes many groups across history, not just Jewish communities, but also Arab populations and others who share cultural and linguistic roots in the Middle East. In other words, historically speaking, the word Semitic was never limited to one single group. It described a broader family of related peoples and languages. And this is where confusion often begins. In modern usage, the word anti-Semitism has taken on a very specific meaning: hostility or discrimination toward Jewish people. But when discussions about politics, ideology, or state policies happen, the word is sometimes used in ways that blur important distinctions. Criticizing a political ideology, a government policy, or a political movement is not the same thing as attacking a religion or a people. Throughout history, people have criticized many different ideologies. There have been criticisms of fascism, communism, colonialism, nationalism, and many other political systems. In the same way, people may criticize ideologies or political movements connected to the Middle East, Europe, or anywhere else. The key distinction is simple. Criticism of an ideology or political movement is not the same as hatred toward an entire people or religion. Confusing those two ideas can shut down meaningful discussion and make honest conversation difficult. Another point often overlooked is the shared roots of the Abrahamic traditions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all trace their spiritual heritage back to the figure of Abraham. Across centuries, people in the Middle East followed different paths of belief. Some remain within Jewish communities, some later followed Christianity, and others embraced Islam. Despite these differences, the historical and cultural connections between these communities are deeply intertwined. In many ways, these traditions share the same historical landscape, the same prophets, and many of the same foundational stories. Understanding the shared heritage can help remind us that the divisions we see today are often political or ideological rather than purely religious or historical. The purpose of understanding words like Semitic is not to create new arguments. It is to encourage clarity. Because when people use powerful words without understanding their meaning, those words can become tools of confusion instead of tools of understanding. And in a world already full of tension, misunderstanding is the last thing we need. If discussions about history, religion, and politics are going to be meaningful, they must begin with knowledge. Understanding the origins of the words we use is one small step toward that goal. Because before we accuse, before we argue, and before we divide ourselves into sides, it helps to first ask a simple question: do we truly understand the words we are using?